10 a.m., January 5th, 2021. City of Pasadena, Texas, council meeting will get under order. We'll have Bo Fisher, the pastor of New Wine Christian Fellowship, will lead us in invocation. And Phil Caton, you'll be leading us in Pledge of Allegiance. If everybody would please stand. Go ahead, Pastor.
Heavenly Father, we give you thanks for this first council meeting of the new year. I think we can all say thank you for bringing us through 2020. We pray for better things in 2021. We ask you for your blessings on the city of Pasadena, its institutions, especially its police and healthcare workers and fire and first responders. We pray for blessings on its industry and business and churches and schools and students and teachers and administrators. We ask you for your mercy, and we pray you would bring us through what are still difficult times into a place of real blessing and peace. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
Would everyone join me in the pledges to our flags?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor
I pledge Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Councilman Caton.
Thank you, Mayor. Hope everyone had a happy new year. I was fortunate enough, my daughter works for, she's IT director for Kelsey Seabowl, and I use Kelsey Seabowl for all my doctor visits also. But anyway, she was offered one of the COVID-19 shots, and she asked him, could my dad have mine in my place? And they said yes, so I got a COVID-19 shot. Moderna. I'll have to take another one in 28 days. Another thing, I want to congratulate all of the city employees that's receiving service awards today, especially Jamie Sutherland. I've known her for years. She is a mainstay in the permit department. She knows everything in the world, so if you got a problem, you call Jamie, and she's Johnny on the spot. She gets it done. And also Freddie Duron from the wastewater collection, he's always Johnny on the spot. Without a pass, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Bass.
Good morning and Happy New Year's. I hope 2021 will be a blessing to everybody. 2020 was a little tough, and we got through it, and so I'm looking forward to a great year in 2021. I want to congratulate Karen Wallace and her husband on a new grandbaby, new girl. And also, I'm going to help Bruce if he forgets. Happy birthday, Sylvia, because I forget my wife, so anyway. And I want to issue condolence to Dr. Charles Cow's family.
Yes, sir.
With that, I pass.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Shingman.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to 2021. We have high expectations for 2021 as we so fortunately put 2020 behind us. I too would like to congratulate our service award winners that have endured for 30 years, 35 years, and 25 years. Also, Bruce wished Sylvia a very happy birthday and many more to come. And I do send condolences out to the Dr. Charles Cow's family. He will be tremendously missed. He was a great individual, served his community, loved his family, and was a great Christian person. And with that, I pass.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Barr.
I just want to send our thoughts and prayers to Sergeant Watson with the Harris County Sheriff's Office, who was killed over the weekend. Also, I want to congratulate the service awards, Mr. Ramirez for wastewater collection, 30 years, Jamie Sutherland, 25 years with permit, Sergeant King, 25 years with the police department, Alfred Duran, 35 years with waste collection, and also happy birthday to Sylvia Lehman. That'll pass.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Lehman.
Well, y'all pretty much took care of it for me, but yeah, I do want to wish my wife Sylvia a happy birthday and many more to come. I want to thank and congratulate the city employees receiving service awards. We do appreciate your service and hope you will be here a few more years to come. In addition to condolences to Dr. Kyle's family, over the weekend, Dr. Robert Townsend passed away. He's a longtime dermatologist here in Pasadena, and he was not only my wife's doctor, he was a friend of ours, but he'll be missed in our medical community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Harrison.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I received a calendar from United States Capitol Historical Society. And I read parts of it, and I enjoyed it so much, I'm gonna read it again to y'all. You got 2 minutes. I'll be through. It's talking about the United States Capitol. It's built more than 200 years ago. George Washington also took a central role in the creation of the Capitol building. His former Revolutionary War subordinate wished to place atop Jenkins Hill. The commissioners advertised for designs of the building in 1792. One of the contest entries captivated the imagination of the President Washington. Dr. William Thornton's classic-inspired dome design combined in Washington words grandeur, simplicity, and convenience. The President himself laid the structure's first cornerstone in a Masonic ceremony on September the 18th, 1793. It would take 7 years of trial and tribulation before one small north wing was ready for the arrival of Congress in November 1800. Washington, who left office in 1797 and died 2 years later. Washington, who left office and died 2 years later, he never actually set foot in the new Capitol building. It fell to his successor, President John Adams, to address the first joint session of Congress in the Capitol on November the 22nd, 1880. In this city, may the piety and virtue, that wisdom and magnanimity, that constancy and self-government which adorn the great character whose name it bears be forever held in veneration. I thought that was impressive. Thank Congressman Sylvia Garcia for sending me this calendar. There's a lot of information in here that it's interesting. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for sharing that. Councilman Castelos.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to wish everyone a happy new year. I hope you had a good holiday season. I know I did. I tell you, of all the bad things that happened in 2020, I can say one of the blessings and one of the best things that could have happened, I think, to me personally, is getting to spend more time with my wife and kids. We kind of, stayed at home and did our own thing, and I tell you what, it was a blessing to just be able to spend those vacation time with my family, and it was just awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed it the same way I did. But at the same time, I would like to reiterate that we're still not out of the woods yet. We still have this COVID-19 thing going on. Please continue to social distance and wear your mask. We're at a time now where our hospital beds and things are getting filled up. We're almost at a threshold that the state governor has issued. Our beds that are at 15% capacity for more than 7 days, then there's going to be some rollbacks as far as how many people can be in businesses. So we're almost there. It's not a milestone we're looking at, but at the same time, I just wanted to let people know and to be aware that we are still in the midst of this pandemic, and please stay vigilant. The other thing is, happy birthday to your wife, Bruce.
Thank you.
And that I pass.
Thank you, sir. All right, now if I don't say happy birthday to Sylvia, I'm gonna be in trouble. Besides being one of my favorite people in the world, she makes the best brownies in the world. And I enjoy them every time she makes them. What's amazing is every time she makes them, they get better and better. So happy birthday, and we wish you many, many more. Okay, with that, we're going to say it's time for citizens to address council. Robert Jeter is up. Happy New Year, Robert.
Good morning, Council, and Happy New Year's. The CDC has now issued its death in the U.S. per year. And if you look at the data for the last 10 years, there has been a slight increase. And the real interesting number is the death per 100,000. Goes up a handful each year, which is consistent and on trend with the baby boomer generation being a large generation in the natural attrition. Now, what is fascinating is the rate of death in the United States has not gone up for the last 4 years, meaning we're not in a pandemic. While COVID is something to be taken serious, the data is not there to classify this as a pandemic. As we move forward with the city into the new year, I would like us to focus on making policy and ordinances that reflect actual factual data. This also is an election year. That could be something that comes up in the election cycle. Are we sticking by the data or are we not? Have a great day, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir.
Cody, I think you're here. Yeah, I think you got.
Christina Womack's up next.
Kate demoted you.
Good morning, Mayor, City Council members. Happy New Year from the Pasadena Chamber of Commerce. Wanted to share a few things with you all, so I'm going to talk fast. We ended the year celebrating some of our annual award winners, and so want to congratulate our 2020 Citizen of the Year, Debbie Mosley, the Executive Director from the Bridge Over Troubled Waters. We also swore in our new board members, and Alex Fox with Qualified Properties is our 2021 Chairman of the Board. And so we are looking forward to continuing to focus on advocating and connecting our community while also educating and serving our members. And so one of the things that we want to make sure that you all know about is moving into this year, our board has made the decision that we will use a hybrid format fashion for every chamber event and meeting moving into this year, so that those folks comfortable to come in person can, versus joining virtually. Thanks to the city's COVID safety planning team, we've worked out plans moving forward to make sure that we're following all of the state issued guidelines to make sure we can do that in a safe manner. So you can check out the chamber website for upcoming events and things to put on your calendar. We will continue to focus on supporting local businesses in 2021. Thanks again to the EDC and the city for the Pasadena Loves Local grant, Pasadena Cares program. Lots of small businesses that benefited from that grant funding. And so speaking of funding, I do want to provide a quick update. This morning before coming here, we had a call with the SBA office with all of the chambers in the region about the new funding for the PPP loans that was reenacted from Congress. And so a couple of quick updates. We'll be sending out an email later today with more information, but the SBA has 10 days from the day of enactment, so we should expect to see something by Friday on all of the further guidance. But there's $284 billion in PPP funding, and that's $35 billion specific to small businesses, which was not set up in the first round of funding. And there's another $25 billion that's also set up for people who borrowed already once. You can get a second forgiveness loan. They are saying the repeal requirements are going to be deducting the idle loan grants, and there's going to be a simplified forgiveness application, which is certainly going to be nice. There's some specific funding available. 501c6 organizations are now eligible with some limitations if they do any sort of lobbying, as well as our live venues, theaters, and performance venues have some specific funding as well, because that industry has certainly been hit. And then our hotel and restaurant industry as well is gonna be eligible for additional funding, more so than the 2.5% that was allocated in the first round of PPP funding. So, all in all, there's more funding, there's more information to come. We will have been in touch with some of our member financial institutions so that Pasadena businesses know who's participating again, because it likely won't be the same list of financial institutions this go round. So just check the website for more information. We'll keep it updated with our partners from the SBA as more information comes available. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll do a presentation of service awards. Mr. Pennington's coming in. Make sure the door's open. Okay.
Mayor and council, it's my pleasure today to recognize 4 employees for their lengthy service to the city. Collectively, they represent 115 years of service to the city and are being commended today for their dedication and loyalty. First is Jesus Ramirez. He's being recognized with the Gold Watch for having 30 years of service with the Wastewater Collections Department. Next is Alfred Duran. He's also being recognized for his service in the Wastewater Collections Department. He's got 35 years of service, and he'll be receiving the Hvac. Third is Jamie Sutherland. She's being recognized with the Gold Ring for having 25 years of service with the Permits Department. And last is Sergeant Kenny King. He's also being recognized with the Gold Ring for having 25 years of service with the Police Department. Please help me congratulate these 4 employees on their dedication and commitment to the city of Pasadena.
Thank you, sir. All right, brings us down to presentation of minutes, December 15th, 2020, 6 p.m.
Motion.
Motion Ibarra, second by Shanebine. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Brings us down to progress payments.
Motion.
We have a motion by Lehman.
Second.
Second by Harrison. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Brings us down to finance resolutions. Motion Lehman, Caton.
Second.
Second by Shanebine. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Brings down to personnel changes A.
Motion.
Motion Shanebine.
Second.
Second by Bass. Any questions?
Mayor,
Go ahead, sir.
recently, the mayor's chief of staff departed to greener pastures. I know this position has been a topic among council members in the past. My hope is that the city doesn't fill this position. The city can save almost $300,000 plus in salary and benefits and can vacate this position or delete this position. With that, I'll pass, Mayor.
Thank you for your hopes. Yes, sir. Any other comments? Go ahead, sir.
I've heard comments, but if you read the city charter, the mayor is responsible for all personnel of the city of Pasadena except the controller's office. With that, I'll pass.
Thank you, sir. And personnel should not be mentioned here. You're exactly right, sir. Okay,
Mayor?
go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you. On the topic of Chief of Staff, Mayor, I'd like to.
The chief of staff is not on our council
He
meeting,
is
sir.
part of personnel,
Again, not on our, not on.
so I'd like to make a motion to delete that position.
Second.
No, motion is not accepted. We're voting on personnel changes A.
Mayor,
No, sir.
if your Chief of Staff is not here, then we've had a personnel change.
Again,
Correct?
not on the agenda, sir. Let's follow the
He's
rules.
part of personnel, I am.
Follow the
following
rules, sir.
And I'm trying to make a motion, we've
Sir?
already had it seconded.
There is no motion unless
It'd
it's
be nice to have it
it's in
voted
writing
on.
and
We'd
it
have
goes
to
in front of me.
have
No,
it
sir.
voted on, sir.
Not accepted.
Under what rule?
Under
what
the
rule?
rules of, I told you that,
Oh, you told me.
absolutely.
So you're gonna basically go against Texas law?
Oh, that
The
is,
motion
that
has
is
been-
Texas law.
If
That
the
is
motion's
Texas
been
law.
seconded, if it's been seconded,
Okay, we'll call for the motion, okay. All in favor, we have a second, Cody Ray Willard. All in favor to eliminate that position, which is not right and there's nothing wrong, but we'll vote on it anyways. All in favor, say aye.
aye. Roll call.
No, the ayes good enough. We have, how many ayes?
To delete it?
Yeah, to lead it.
To delete the position? Aye.
Okay, we have 3 ayes, all against it?
No.
No. Motion fails. Now let's go back to original vote, please, on personal changes A. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. All right, Madam Secretary, brings us down to final readings.
Ordinance 2020-179, Ordinance 2020-180. Ordinance 2020-181. Ordinance 2020-182. Ordinance 2020-183. Ordinance 2020-185. Ordinance 2020-186.
Motion by Bass,
Second.
second by Shanebine. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Madam Secretary, brings us down to first readings.
Madam Secretary, if you don't mind, Mayor, excuse me, on 2020-182, I'd like to vote no on that.
182, no, Bakaselos.
Yes, sir. Ordinance 2021-001, approving an agreement by and between the City of Pasadena, Texas, and Evelyn Fabian for exercise classes provided through the Parks and Recreation Department in collaboration with MD Anderson's Exercise for Life program. Ordinance 2021-002, authorizing approving the annual maintenance agreement by and between the City of Pasadena, Texas, Subron LLC for the Solution Software Systems with Subron LLC at Central Square Company, $203,439.31. Ordinance 2021-003, authorizing approving a contract by and between the City of Pasadena, Texas, and Sirius Engineers Incorporated for design services for Golden Acres 24-inch Force Main Phase 2 Project CIP number WW072 for a total appropriation of $233,253 from the 2017 Certificate of Obligation Fund Balance account. Ordinance 2021-004, amending Ordinance 2020-53, renewal of property and windstorm insurance coverage to add Fire Station Number 8, building located at 5454 Crenshaw for an additional fee of $15,334.89 through McGriff, Siebels, and Williams of Texas Incorporated. Ordinance 2021-005, granting to Houston Fuel Oil Terminal Company the right, privilege, and franchise and permit to lay, replace, construct, repair, maintain, operate, and remove one 24-inch pipeline routed on and across parcels of land, the center line and route of which are shown on the attached plats, in the courses and distances, descriptions in Exhibit A, incorporated herein for all purposes, all in the corporate limits of the City of Pasadena, Texas, and in accordance with plans and specifications heretofore filed with the Department of Public Works and the Department of Planning, prescribing the terms and conditions under which said right, privilege, franchise, and permit is granted, and providing for acceptance. Ordinance 2021-006, authorizing and approving a contract between the City of Pasadena, Texas, and Construction Masters of Houston Incorporated for Pasadena Municipal Golf Course Maintenance Barn Construction CIP number R063, using Harris County Department of Education HCDE Choice Partners Cooperative Contract number 20-017, MR-05, in the amount of $185,411.44 with a contingency of $12,000 for a total appropriation of $197,411.44, funded by the 2018 Certificate of Obligation Fund Balance account. Ordinance 2021-007, authorizing and approving contract with Hvac International Incorporated for purchase of software for the migration of archived emails from retained to Mimecast and migration of city's internet site, the old server, to SharePoint in Office 365 from Hvac Internationals Incorporated through the Interlocal Purchasing System, TIPS, contract number 200105. Ordinance 2021-008, authorizing a contract to purchase and install an HVAC system at the Pasadena Public Library Fairmont Branch with Polk Mechanical Company through Interlocal Purchasing System, TIPS, contract number 200300302, HVAC, $49,130.
Motion.
Motion Ibarra, second by Harrison. Any questions?
Mayor,
Go ahead, sir.
I'm going to be voting no on 2020-003. About a month and a half ago, there was a contract for an engineer. During that time, I said that I would support it. I was told there was going to be a CIP on the agenda. We're going to have a CIP workshop a couple of weeks after that, and we're supposed to have a CIP plan on the agenda shortly after that. It's almost been a month and a half. I'm going to keep my word and say that I'm not going to vote for this. They haven't brought a CIP to us. I went along last time for this engineering contract that was on the agenda a while back. Also, there's been some questionable behavior about the issuance of some engineering contracts that I'm looking into, so I won't be supporting this. That'll pass, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? A no on everything, or just? 003. Madam Secretary, brings us down to resolutions.
2021-001, authorizing and approving a public auction for the sale of abandoned and confiscated vehicles and surplus city vehicles and equipment to be held on the following Saturdays in 2021: January 23rd, March 20th, May 15th, July 17th, September 18th, and November 20th, beginning at 9 a.m. at the Fleet Maintenance Facilities, 3124 Red Bluff Road, Pasadena, Texas. Publication of the auction notices authorizing the auctioneer's 5% fee of the sale for abandoned and confiscated vehicles and 10% fee of the sale for surplus city vehicles and equipment, and allowing for a 5% buyer's premium to be added to the final purchase price. Resolution 2021-002, authorizing the mayor of the city of Pasadena on behalf of the Pasadena Police Department to accept a donation from Trumbull Racing Concepts, $2,282.39, Central Houston Cadillac, $1,500, Agape Financial, $500, Big City Wings, $200, and Starbucks, $200 for contributing to the Blue Family Thanksgiving event held November 23rd, 2020, in the combined amount of $4,682.39. The funds donated were used to purchase turkeys and fixings for the event and provided food for the volunteers. Resolution 2021-003, appointing a compliance officer as the city's Section 3 Coordinator, Labor Standards, Civil Rights, Fair Housing, Equal Employment Opportunity, and Section 504 Standards Officer related to all federal grant awards. Resolution 2021-004, adopting the City of Pasadena Livable Centers study prepared in conjunction with the Houston Galveston Area Council, HGAC, AECOM, and project partners with the intent to follow the recommendations as set forth therein. Resolution 2021-005, appointing Brad Hance to the Transition Committee of the Board of Pilot Commissioners for a 2-year term.
Motion.
Motion by Shinebine, second by Bass. Any questions? Go ahead, sir.
Just want to talk about the Livable Studies. Just want to commend Deanna on her work on this particular study. But something that stood out for me, and I talked to her this morning, was the proposal, and it's just in the conceptual stages right now, but they proposed redesigning Main Street in Shaver to a two-way street. I told her that I voiced my opposition to that. I think it would not be well received. It's something that I won't support. But overall, the study was good, and there's some good stuff in there that I'll pass.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor,
Go ahead, sir.
yeah, on this livable study, I agree with Councilman Ibarra. Many years ago, and those of us who've been in Pasadena as long as some of us have, know that years ago, these streets were two-way streets, and the reason it was changed, as Pasadena grew, the amount of traffic was causing problems having two-way streets. So before this is done, I hope they do a study and
Absolutely.
look into it.
Thank you, sir. You bet. Okay,
Mayor?
go ahead, sir.
I think I'm on the other side of the coin on this thing. I do appreciate the amount of work that they put into this livable center study. It does has its benefits, but I think as a council, I think by us allowing this livable centers, we're kind of passing the buck. I feel like citizens elected us to be part of these meetings, to be part of these studies, to see exactly what kind of projects are going to be going on in the city. A perfect example of this livable center study is Pasadena Boulevard. If some of the council members remember, with that data, they our engineering department and the EDC were going to make Pasadena Boulevard a 2-lane street from 225 to Harris. That, as you probably know, was not going to work. I gave them my concerns about it. Once I told them that I didn't like that we wanted to go with the 4-lane, then the EDC says, well, if that's the case, you're not going to use the livable center study, we're not going to help on Pasadena Boulevard anymore. So I feel like we as a council need to be involved more with these projects and what's going on. This may be a tool to use in the future, but until council is brought together to look at all these studies as a whole, then we can make decisions as a group and as a council and work together to see what is best for the city. Because you can take data and you can switch it all the way around, and you can make it however you want to go with the engineering and the styling that you want for any type of project. So, like I said, I think that right now I'm going to vote against this until I see a little bit more communication and working with council members and respective projects in their districts. Mayor, can I have 2 minutes on the E, appointing of Brad Hance?
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. On item E, I'm gonna be voting against this right now. It's time for the city to move in a direction away from good old boy stuff. Mr. Hance is, I'm sure, a fine man, but at the same time, there's more than just a handful of people that we can pick from. There's people all over this city. There's no sense in using the same people that we've had for 20-plus years to do certain things for the city. So I will be voting against that. And lastly, Mayor, 2 more minutes on item A.
Go ahead, sir.
Item A is a public auction. I'm gonna be voting against this. Again, we're in the midst of a pandemic, and for us to have a public auction, people around one another, I'm not gonna be casting a vote to have large groups of people around buying vehicles and auctioneers and whatnot. So that being said, I'm gonna be voting against this. I know we need to do this. Maybe there's a way we can do it online, webcam, however they wanna do that. But I think having one public, it's a little bit premature. That I pass.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments?
Mayor,
Go ahead, sir.
I'd just like to mention, I've known Brad Hance for a long time. He's a very outstanding person in the community. In fact, I go to the same church with him. He's a very religious person. And I welcome him to the transition committee of the Board of Pilot Commissioners. I think he will be an outstanding person in that position without a pass.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments?
Mayor,
Go ahead, Mr. Willard, go
I
ahead.
want to speak on Resolution D, the adoption.
D,
Yes, the agreement between Pasadena Livable Centers and HGAC.
Go ahead,
For those of you that don't know, HGAC is Houston Galveston Area Council. It's an organization that's comprised of Harris County and all surrounding counties, Galveston, different cities and things like that. It's a big board. And I think it's good to have studies, it's good to have partners, but I think what's been demonstrated in the past year or 2 here is that they're not from here. They don't know the streets like we do, they don't know the community like we do, and we have 3 council members from the north side who are all saying, hey, these streets designs are bad for our districts. They're bad for our constituents, we talk to them. And what this is doing is overriding the will of the elected officials that represent these districts. So I will not be supporting this. Like I said, I think it's a good effort, but putting it, I mean, think about it, a 2-way street on Pasadena Boulevard. Any of you who travel that in the evening, rush hour, know that it's packed. I think that we came up with a better plan. There's a better plan, 4-lane with a turn lane, with sidewalks. But to narrow that down to a 2-lane road would just cause havoc in that part of town. And that's why you have to have input from council members, so I won't be supporting this. 2 more minutes for item E, the appointment of Brad Hance.
go ahead, sir.
This city right now is suffering from a lack of diversity. If you look at our department heads, our appointments, our employees, the people we appoint to boards, this is a majority Hispanic city, and Hispanic people continue to get looked over these positions and these jobs here at the city, so I won't be supporting this. I think the mayor needs to look to be more diverse in who he appoints and who he hangs out with. That I'll pass.
Thank you, sir. Okay, any other comments?
Yes, Mayor.
Go ahead, Mr. Harrison.
I'm gonna address, item D.
D, got it.
There are certain items on there, I haven't had a chance to read the whole study. I only got it, Sunday afternoon when I came by. I came by Monday and it wasn't there that I know of. But in there, they're gonna buy, the city of Pasadena gonna purchase them all. They say they got another, manager. Before, second century or economic development council in the city, they studied it for 1 year to buy them all for around 15 million, what I heard. And then again, the engineers told me that that deal was not gonna take place. Then at this morning's workshop, I hear from the mayor and Councilman Yubera that they've got a new investor or manager. I've always stayed on the same principle, and the city doesn't need to buy a retail space. Sears just shut down. They don't have anybody over there now. The city ought to stay out of the real estate business. And, because every time we buy real estate, it's negative. And also, Second Century, that was the name then, they studied all of Shaw Street. They bought the old post office for $140,000. Then they turned around and sell the post office to another engineering firm for $40,000. Everything that they seem like they do is not only personnel, but the purchases, they lose money. And the city lose money. Taxpayers lose money. And go back to Shaver Street and Main Street. I remember the days of another administration when they were two-way streets. And they determined the administration that to make them one-way street, and that's been a terrible thing ever since, but that's the way it is. Thank you, Mayor.
You bet, thank you.
Mayor,
Go ahead,
No,
Tommy.
go ahead.
I've already spoken, go ahead.
Yes, you have, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Mayor, I'd like to clarify a couple of comments on the sustainable living study. Portions of this study have been done several years ago by prior administrations. Some council members were involved in that during that time. It didn't come to fruition, so they started adding to it. They used portions of the previous study. They've had additional studies done over the last couple of years. And I'll tell you where these recommendations came from. It didn't come from council. It didn't come from the EDC. It came from partnerships of them going in to the north side communities and getting residents' feedback. That's where these suggestions came from. The suggestion for Shaver and Main Street, that came from citizens. That didn't come from anybody else. That doesn't mean it's gonna be done. It was something that the citizens commented and recommended within this study. There was community meetings on the north side in those areas where they mapped out what their wants and desires were for their subdivisions and their communities. I attended those. They were really very interesting, and they were quite well attended by the residents in that area. That's where this information came from. It didn't come from council. It didn't come from engineers. It didn't come from Second Century. It came from the citizens of Pasadena. This is a plan that we can address our citizens' needs and concerns. And then finally, I'd like to speak on the real estate business on the mall. We are not in the real estate business. EDC is not purchasing the mall. They are working with investors for investment money to come in and see if that property will be viable and a tax base for the future for the city of Pasadena. We are not purchasing the mall. So that needs to be put to bed right now. And with that, I pass.
Well said, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, all in favor?
Mayor,
Aye.
Mayor, I'd like to say something. My
No,
name
sir,
was,
you've
well, my
already
name
talked
was
about
mentioned earlier by Councilmember
You have
Harrison.
2 minutes per item.
Yeah,
No,
well,
which item are you talking about?
I'm gonna talk about the livable study. Look, the
minute, sir.
information's
Sir, sir.
available.
Mr. Barrett,
So
please.
you can go
Mr.
out there and
Barrett,
read.
you've already-
I just want, he mentioned my name, you didn't say anything
I
about it.
don't, you can talk about that later. You've already talked on.
I just wanna say, the information's
You've already talked
available.
about it, sir.
You can go out there, read it,
Mr.
and it's
Barrett,
not a
you know the
secret.
rules. Please follow the
Well, I'm
rules.
just trying to
No.
clarify something
You
Councilmember
know the
Harrison
rules,
said.
sir. You know the rules. Okay, any other comment? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm
We-
voting no on D and E, Mayor.
Madam Secretary, you got that?
I'm voting no on D, E, and A.
You got that? Any other no's? Okay. Passes. All right, this adjourns our calendar meeting. God bless you, and see you in 2 weeks.